Independence of Cuba. On the 14th century, a young captain goes to Sultan Bayezid twice to ask him if he can provide him ships and money to discover the new world for him. The Sultan looks the young and crazy captain and sends him without saying a single word. Captain then goes to Spanish Queen Isabel and convinces her to discover the new world, and she orders his men to give him his young captain ships, money and ammunition. This young captain was Christopher Columbus. Originally he was Genevian. Before discovering a new world, he became a Spanish. Italian sailor called the Americas Vespucci's, who lived between 1454 and 1512, also gave his name to North and South American continent. Starting in the 13th century, a spectacular Alhambra palace was built in Spain. Arabic and Latin people of Granada has created a dance called flamenco. It is a dance that reflects a combination of mixed cultures, just as the Macedonian king Philip II and his son Megasthenes Alexandros III encourages mixed marriages between West and East. West culture, that of Anatolia and the East, like our origins as a Turk. No matter how happy you feel, we are not Europeans nor Asians. We are Eurasians. One country, one nation, one flag. This is us. We are a proud nation. What a beautiful feeling, whoever says, I am a Turk. Its color is beautiful, isn't it? Meanwhile, in Andalusia, Jewish descent, who discusses himself as a king, Andalusia I Ferdinand, take him back to Inquisition and forces Muslims and Jews people to choose, saying, you must either become Christians or leave the country or die. The last Sultan of Andalusia, Abdullah II, asked for help from the Ottoman Sultan Bayezid II. But the Ottoman Empire cannot send help because of the Prince Cem Sultan was kept prisoner for the bargaining power against the Ottomans in Europe. Cem Sultan was a very nice-looking prince who was also loved by the Romanex woman. Sultan Bayezid sends Kemal Reis, uncle of Piri Reis, admiral of the Ottoman Navy, to Spain. Kemal Reis placed those Muslims and Jewish immigrants and their families in the Thessaloniki, Istanbul and Bursa. 500 years ago, Jewish people were settled in a place called the Arap Şükrü, Jewish region in Bursa. Then these 150,000 Jews became Ottoman citizens. During the 19th century, Ottoman Empire was having hard times. Russian Tsar II Nikolai Romanov family was in power. He provoked Serbs and Bulgarians in the Balkans against the Ottomans. His intentions was to conquer Constantinople, which is the heart and center of the world. He wanted to cut all Ottomans' connections at the east of Anatolia and central of Asia. First World War had begun, but there was a wonderful life in Cuba's capital, Havana. Cuba was one of Spain's colony, which America had eyes on it. Alarm bells was ringing in Spain and in USA. During the Balkan War, a man called Francisco Rus from Constantinople, because he didn't have any language problems, went to Cuba. His mind was always in Constantinople, dreaming one day to go back to Constantinople. Domingo falls in love with the local Cuban girl and marries her. He has 3 daughters, and he always used to tell his daughters about Istanbul, his dreams about returning back there one day. One of the daughters gave birth to a boy in 1926. Who was his boy? Who was this boy? This boy was Fidel Castro. Meanwhile, communist Bolsheviks movement started in Russia. Tsar II Nicholas was seeking asylum from his brother, King of England. But his brother did not help him. So Romanov family was killed by the Bolsheviks. Turks take a deep breath. Because of Mustafa Kemal and his friends, brave actions created a great patriotism in Turkey. They were the brave hearts. They were the master of horizons, patriots of master horizons, who were gone hard crazy. By taking Anatolia people their sides, they have started the independence movement to save the country from the enemy. When the government forbid the sale of alcohol in USA in 1920s, the mafia in the period became very rich by selling the kind of alcohol under the name of Stinger or Stinger, a kind of hard spirit called Bartop gin distilled in a bathtub in all over the world. Large investors from America went to Havana and built casinos, hotels, entertainment venues, lived in a lavish lifestyle. While the war rages on Europe, life in Cuba was luxurious. Secret Service of Ottomans and USAs went to Cuba for spying. Meanwhile, Bacardi family in Cuba was living in luxurious life. They had sugarcane plantations. They find the money by selling and producing sugar to all over the world. There was so much sugarcane in their hands. They are in research, and from the spirits of beverage obtained from the glass of cane rum and bottled and sold under the name Bacardi rum. Young leader Castro, patriotic and charismatic, taken the people behind as counter-guerrilla, declaring war on Batista and his family. They seek in the mountains. Comandante Dr. Ernesto from Bolivia came to see Che Guevara in Cuba. Always reading the books, this chap. Che is both cool and handsome, with long black hair and a type of Romanesque guy woman likes. There's always start Barrett in his head. The two leaders meet and they have same thoughts. Together they started a great independence war. They beat Batista and his army. Batista runs away and communism had declared, and all public and private property was confiscated. Pro-Americans fled to America. All patriots stayed in Cuba. America imposes embargo on Cuba. Nuclear war between Russia and USA was almost started. President Richard Nixon and John F. Kennedy period. Bacardi family, they fall to the ground from the top. They became broke. They even be in need of bread. When they were fleeing to America, one little boy found the secret formula of Bacardi rum. This secret formula would help them to recover again. Comandante Dr. Ernesto and Che Guevara says to Vidal Andex Castro will go to Bolivia and Argentina to start independence war there. Castro says, don't go your place in there, stay here. Che, in spite of his cry, jumps his motorcycle with his bag on his back with books. When he was going towards the Bolivia, American Secret Service reports him to Bolivian authorities. Then Che Guevara ambushed and held in hail of bullets, just like Bonnie and Clyde, or like Sonny and Charleone, sons of Don Corleone in the movie Godfather of Maria Puzo. There was a book inside his bag, a book that he was reading called Atatürk's Speech. Meanwhile, some parts of Cuba alcohol was prohibited for under 18s. So young Cubans under the age started to drink Coca-Cola. The people could not understand why American-made drink became so much popular. Who the enemy of Cuba? The products of Coca-Cola not meaning to be, but the truth is not like that. Young people long to fill up long drink glasses and lemon juice in Coca-Cola, and Bacardi lemon put rondelle and secretly brought out of bag inside the bottle of rum. They fill a long drink glass. Actually, one of the boys, after he got drunk from that drink, goes into the middle of the room and shouts towards the people of Cuba, Libre, Cuba Libre, Free Libre, Free Cuba. Then the collars are connected, and young boy was arrested, sent to jail. So the Cuba's freedom goes out from bottle of became a well-known cocktail and spread out all over the world. Thank you.